Port wine is one of the most popular dessert wines in the world, but most people don't know that it actually comes from a specific wine region in Portugal called the Douro Valley. And this region almost didn't survive in the 1800s when it suffered a phylloxera outbreak, which is an insect or pest that swept through and destroyed all the vineyards of Europe. And of course, it was a woman who stepped up to create a solution that was going to save the vineyards in the Douro Valley, but nobody really talks about her enough. So let me introduce you to Dona Antónia Adelaide Ferreira. So Dona was born in 1811 to a wealthy winemaking family in the Douro Valley. And the Ferreiras have been producing and trading port wine for generations at this point. When she came of age, she married her cousin Antonio, who was also a Ferreira. It's giving Game of Thrones. But when they got married, they essentially ran the business together. However, he had very little interest in the family business and ended up spending a fortune before he died. So at 33 years old, widowed with 2 children, she didn't just inherit a business, but she inherited a mess. She did eventually take over the family's wine estate, but this was at a time when women simply weren't running businesses. However, she not only managed the business well, but she also expanded it. She planted new vineyards, built new warehouses, and bought land, becoming one of the most prominent landowners in the Douro Valley. But with success always comes a little hate, even if it's from nature. So her biggest test came when the phylloxera outbreak hit the Douro Valley in 1865. While other landowners panicked and sold their property, Dona bought them up, keeping struggling farmers afloat. He even traveled to England to research solutions and came back with a game-changing answer. And that was to use American vine rootstock, which was naturally immune to phylloxera. She replanted her vineyards using these resistant roots and shared the technique across the entire region. And now her efforts are credited with keeping the Douro Valley alive. Now today in Portugal, she is still known by her nickname Ferreirina, which means Little Ferreira as a term of endearment. And Ferreira continues to be one of the biggest port wine houses to remain exclusively in Portuguese hands. Cheers.